and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of April 3rd. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics, because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. So this week we continued with Brothers and Sisters, a sob fest.
Oh my gosh.
And returned to Ted Lasso, which is back with season 3. So we watched the first 3 of those to get caught up, and then henceforth we'll just do one at a time as they drop. But so the first 3 were called Smells Like Mean Spirit, I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea, and 451.
What was the meaning of 451?
I think it was about the positions that the players were in, because in a previous episode they talked about 4-4-2, like 4 defenders, 4 midfield.
Okay.
2
oh yes. All right. That makes sense.
forwards. Okay. And then when they got Zava, they were reconfiguring things. So I think that title
that makes
was
sense.
just all referring to Zava. So yeah, we can talk about these all in one whack, I guess. We have, I don't know, should we kind of go character by character in terms of what they're up to?
We could just blob these together, because honestly, I don't really remember. I watched things all in a lump where they began and ended.
I'm going to struggle to know that too. So who do you want to start with?
We could start with Ted. Why not?
Okay. The titular character?
You know, he seemed to be doing okay. In the first episode, Nate, who we'll get to, was trash-talking him a little bit, and he turned it around with self-deprecating humor and won everybody back to his side. The team was rated very lowly, and Rebecca wanted him to be doing more, but he was just sort of doing his Ted Lasso thing. Still talking to his therapist on, didn't really look like Zoom, but some sort of online mechanism.
Dr. Sarah from past episodes.
But then, then there was a very contrived bit of business. They had to work hard for this, and it was stupid, but he left his phone at home, and he couldn't remember his son's phone number, and so he had to call the house phone. And at the house, his wife and her new boyfriend and Ted's son were getting ready to go to a game, and she wasn't going to answer the phone, but her boyfriend did. And it turns out that he is their former marriage counselor, and that then brings on some panic attacks for Ted. And it's like... There were so many more easy ways to do that, honestly. Really. Just left his phone at home, and so you know, as this is rolling along, that, something bad's going to happen. I thought it was maybe just that he wouldn't be able to get in touch with his son, and then he would be distracted by that, but no.
Yeah.
Were we supposed to recognize that dude? Did we ever see him before?
I don't remember
in marriage
him.
Counseling? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, there's I believe the first episode, the little boy mentions Jake. Oh, he's mommy's friend.
Right.
So we're already primed for.
Have gotten away with saying he's a random dude and gotten off the phone very quickly before Ted recognized his voice.
Right. He recognized Ted's voice.
Yes, of course he did. And he could have just said, just motioned for the ex-wife to take it and not revealed himself to be Dr. Jake.
That's cold.
Yeah, do not like, but okay. And there's so much else going on that Ted is mostly just kind of fading into the background. But he does, Trench Krim, formerly of The Independent, comes along to with the idea of embedding with the team and writing a book, which everybody else realizes is a terrible idea. But Ted just says, okay, sure. And then there's a very enjoyable bit of business between Roy and Trent, because Roy is like, not telling everybody not to talk to Trent, not to welcome him there. Everything is. And it develops that early in his career, Trent wrote something really nasty about him. And
when he was 17.
I know.
When Roy was 17.
And he still carries this review around with him in his wallet. Relatable content. And, Trent admits that he, too, was young and, trying to make a name for himself by being mean.
Right.
So, Nate, take a note. And
exactly. Yes, that's kind of a theme.
Yeah. So, and after that, they're okay. And and then the big development as for the team is that this incredibly good, apparently charismatic, though he seems like such a jerk to me.
This just weirdo.
Who can make contact foot to ball in any one of 1,000 contortions.
Right.
I did enjoy the fact that he finally comes to Richmond because Rebecca chews him out at a urinal and shames him. That was
shames
lovely.
Him for having asparagus-smelling pee, among other things.
And points out that, boy, if you want to be a big cheese, you should come to a team that's losing, not a team that's winning. Right. And so he does. And
he's like, I think I will.
I thought he would just completely disrupt the apple cart of team morale, but everybody but Jamie is into him and just thrilled to play third, fourth, fifth bananas to his excellence. Right. Every time it looks like they're going to do something, he makes the final push and gets credit for it. So Jamie is like, that should be me doing that. That's when I behaved that way, I got in trouble. I was forced to share with my teammates, and now here's this guy. So,
and then there's some, mixing up of characters again as Roy kind of takes Jamie almost under his wing now, which is a nice turn of events from how their relationship has evolved over these three seasons.
Did the actor who plays Jamie, has his accent just been coming out more and more, or did he talk like that in the beginning?
I think he always did. But
did he always?
Yes, what he said.
Charming.
It smells like poop.
Yes. It's charming, and I love it. And it's like, has he always? I think it's just getting thicker and thicker as he goes along.
Maybe it's getting thicker because people love it. But
yes, so endearing.
Before I ever watched this, I had read about how hilarious it is when they're in the sewer and he says, it smells like poop, eh?
Yes. Anyway, so that's some of it. Let's see. All of our relationships have broken up.
Right.
Roy and Keeley break up and have to break the news to his niece, who looks older.
She does look older, and
she markedly older.
She handles it quite well.
She does. She points out that there is no good reason for them to break up, and everybody in the audience goes, "Yes, that is correct."
Listen to the child. She knows what she's talking about.
She doesn't understand that. We got to keep dramatic tension going somehow. Yes. Oh, I don't know. We'll just break them up. And also apparently Rebecca and her beau, what is his name?
Sam, but we knew that.
Yeah, but, in both cases, there's regrets. And also, Rebecca goes, because her mother forces her to a psychic, says something about a green matchbook. And then they're at Sam's restaurant, and he's handing out matchbooks, and it's green.
It's
like, who'd have thought that somebody might come across a green matchbook? I mean, all matchbooks are a uniform color and would never vary. So this is a very special, very unusual thing. You can guarantee means the psychic knows things.
Something is up.
Yeah. Okay. I want them to get back together, so I will allow it. But, this is like, do you know somebody named John?
Right. I see a letter S.
So Sam remains adorable. And although them getting together seemed unlikely in the first place,
right,
they're cute together.
They are.
And
Keeley is dealing with her new business where she has a bunch of real cold fish working for her that have been placed there by her investors. And so you can tell that she's actually pretty unhappy with her job because, she started her own company and she's basically
she
not
did
able to do it.
Charm the CFO by admiring her snow globe collection.
That's true.
Absolutely. And then she brings in her old friend Shandy into the business for a job that doesn't actually exist. And I
also
can't
relatable.
tell, is she going to be delightfully disruptive or is she going to be trouble? Seems like she might not be that nice.
Right.
It's a possibility.
But Keeley really needed somebody who was in her corner.
That's right.
in this workplace.
Do we imagine that PR people are generally that dour?
No, they're certainly not. I mean, the one is supposed to be the CFO, and so maybe the others have sort of back office type of jobs as well.
Yeah, I hope so. So if I got an email from one of those people, it would be very easy to delete it.
Right.
Something with a little spirit would be harder, though I still would.
Yes.
Catherine has taught me well. Blame her. Don't.
Something from Shandy.
Don't indulge the PR people.
Never. Do not give them an inch, Terry. It's a risk. All right, who else do you want to talk about?
We did talk about Nate at the beginning. He was really only in the first of these 3 episodes. I thought he was going to be sort of a recurring motif, but apparently he's just going to be certain episodes mostly dedicated to him.
Right.
I guess it was his first day as coach, and he came in his little crappy car, which Rupert immediately had towed because who could possibly be driving that and working for him?
Right.
And then he gives Nate a nice car at the end. But he is quite mean to his players.
He's mean to everyone.
He's mean to everybody.
He's just a very angry person. He's a very hurt people.
Yes, this is evil Nate
scenario.
Yeah, so he's doesn't seem like the kind of guy your team would rally around and win for. But I guess maybe they're used to nasty coaches, and that's why Ted was such a turnaround. But you did see him have sort of a little moment where he had to psych himself up when he was talking to the press. He had to go under the table and spit. Because that was his thing, right? He's spitting in the mirror. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if he needs to do that, he's not completely over at the dark side, but he's just one toe still sticking out. And he gets a text from his mother that shows his dad still doesn't respect him. And so, but Rupert is, evil. So watch yourself there, man. We would like to think that eventually you will come over to the light.
Yeah.
And did he just dye his hair silver? Why does he look like that, Catherine? Yeah. I don't understand. Is this what happens when you sign a contract with the evil one? Your hair turns white?
This did happen at some point in last season, but yeah, it's definitely like a transformation.
Yes.
He's a very different person than he once was.
The curdling of his good nature is coming out through his roots.
Yep.
But it's a little, I don't know. It's weird. And it calls attention to itself in a way that maybe is not good.
Right.
He could have just changed his wardrobe, would have been sufficient. You do not need to do, if he had dyed his hair red or yellow or something, but it looks like he's just gone gray overnight.
Yeah.
And he's not that old. Although my mom went gray in her 30s, so he could be that. Yeah. It's just weird to me. A weird, unsettling thing.
Right.
Just like Coach Beard's romance with Jane. What the F?
Yes, that just, continues on.
It's just there every now and then to be bizarre. Yes. It has no particular point. Just, have we shown how screwed up his romance is? Let's just throw in a scene or two.
Right.
Whatever, you guys.
So you remember. Whatever. Although the second episode, which was the one where they were working on getting Zava, just Coach Beard had a series of little shrieks that happened periodically throughout the episode that were quite amusing. Like in relation to Zava, then also like when he found out that Roy and Keeley broke up. Like, I did laugh a lot.
Yes. And honestly, if they're not going to bring Roy and Keeley back together, where is that school teacher? I want him to date that school teacher.
Oh, yeah. She was good.
She was very good. And she had a similar vocabulary when she wasn't teaching children. So,
right.
And then we had like from amongst the players whose names we don't really remember, they're just part of the troupe. From the cast of extras came a player who is gay and has a boyfriend but doesn't tell anybody.
Closeted.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he brings him to a dinner at Sam's restaurant and introduces him as his wingman. And the friend makes a little joke about, girls always go for the soccer players and stuff like that. And then afterwards, there's this thing where we follow Trent Krim out of the restaurant and onto the street. And so something's going to happen. Is he going to get hit by a car? Is a limo with Rupert in it going to come up and say, and it's going to turn out that he's doing this at Rupert's behest? Or is Rupert going to try to buy him off? What's going to happen? And then it turns out that he just sees the two men kissing. And Trent doesn't look like the kind of dude offhand who would want to make hay out of that.
Right. He doesn't, which is why it's very annoying that they made a point of him.
It is.
Seeing it.
And sort of having an expression that was difficult to read.
Right.
Like, oh ho, this can be a whole chapter. But...
Please don't do that.
And it's also like, we've seen this dude in the background for 2 seasons now, and now we care about him. Right. Okay. Are all the other random dudes going to have storylines too? I enjoyed this. And also, it's the Greek chorus in the background without any significant others or recognizable qualities.
Right. Yeah, like when they had the Christmas episode and they all showed up at Leslie's house.
I have watched that video on YouTube quite a few times.
That's so charming.
Yes. Yes. But okay. We'll see where this goes.
I believe his name is Colin.
Yes. I require it to go someplace that will not outrage me.
Yeah, same. But that also made me think of, there's a scene where you see Dr. Sharon getting in bed with a hot young guy. And are we supposed to recognize that guy?
I don't know, but I did not.
Okay.
You know how they have subtitles so we can understand what all the British accents are saying? They need to have a little prompt.
Pop-up
You've seen this guy before, remember? He was here. This was Ted's marriage counselor.
Right.
This was... it's confusing.
It like the whisper voice that used to be on the People's Court.
Right.
Like, as soon as little Henry mentions Jake, then you get the voice.
Yes.
Jake was the name of the Lasso's marriage counselor.
Yes. It's like how Amazon Prime has the little, you can like hit a button and all the names of the actors come up, which is wonderful.
It's awesome.
We need something like that. And how many episodes this individual has been on. Right. So we know. Go to IMDb and look up this episode.
Yeah. Are we dealing with a guest star? Are we dealing with a series regular?
Yeah. Yes. So what else? The bar and its residents continue
its patrons
to be adorable.
Yes.
And I noticed that at one point they used the line, "Everything is going your way." And
I
stole that from yourselves.
That's from Shrinking, you guys.
They just were writing the scripts at the same time and they forgot which show that belongs in.
Right.
I miss Shrinking, by the way. All but the last 30 seconds.
Yep. That was good.
But
all right. Well,
Lasso was diverting. And, I don't think Rupert is out of the Zava business and will find some way to mess that up. But
correct.
Like to see Nate try his tough love coaching on that dude.
Yeah.
Out on his butt in a minute.
Not going to get him anywhere.
He is not going to stand behind the dum-dum line. I can tell you that for sure.
He will just not even... He'll just like float somewhere else.
Well, he's like twice the height of Nate, so he might not even see him.
This is true.
What an odd looking dude.
Shall we
brothers,
shall we move on? Oh,
so sad.
Yes. So this was episode 22 of season 1, which by the way is the penultimate one of the season.
So next week is Matriarchy to bookend the season, which started with Patriarchy.
But for this one, it's called Favorite Son, and it is, of course, at the end of the previous episode, Julia had gone into labor, and, Army medic Justin was trying to deal with that.
Well, apparently he does deliver the babies. They mentioned that he delivered the babies, so.
Right.
Because Kevin was making a joke that, since both of the kids could be either of theirs, that Justin's moving ahead in the favorite uncle sweepstakes.
Right.
But as it turns out, sad things happen.
Yeah. So, they were quite early, and the little boy has some severe complications. And
little William. It's been a bad year for Williams.
Yes.
That might not have been the best name to give him.
And also, there's a whole thing throughout the whole episode that, the little girl doesn't have a name. Yeah. And, of course, by the end of it, she gets a name. But when Julia's, having a breakdown, which, by the way, she did an amazing job of performing those. She's like, she doesn't even have a name, the baby girl. I'm like, guys, this is something you could fix right now, super easily.
Yes.
You don't have to let this be what's freaking you out right now. This is one problem you can actually solve. Let's do it.
Tommy just sort of preemptively does it later, and that's fine. It was off her list, so I guess it's fine.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, so they have the little William has a problem with his kidneys, and one possible treatment they're saying is to get his sister, his twin, to donate a kidney, which must be the size of a pencil eraser or something. I mean, it has to be
because they're tiny. Where did they get those those animatronic things they had as those little teeny tiny babies?
Yeah, they were.
Because they looked upsettingly realistic and vulnerable and tiny.
Right.
Boy, brothers and sisters, they keep hammering home this theme. Brothers and sisters. Will the sister donate to her brother? These little tiny things who have been alive for no time at all? Will they put the sister
girl
at risk? Save the brother?
Painful.
It was so much fun when they were throwing cakes around.
Yes. In the end, they don't have to make that decision because the little boy doesn't make it. Yeah. So,
oh man, sad. Just heart-wrenching.
But yes, Sarah Jane Morris, as
she said
in previous episodes, she has had little to do. In this one, she is extremely convincing as someone who has been crying for 3 days.
Yes.
Without stopping.
Yes. So I guess kudos to the makeup people too, because she really did. She looked the part and she acted, and it was just excellent and heartbreaking. And, kudos to Balthazar Zaghetti too for just, stoicism in the face of terribleness. And you can tell that he's trying extremely hard not to freak out, and he's just kind of stunned and overwhelmed and doesn't know what to do. I think he conveyed that well.
Yeah.
For somebody who has always been relatively understated on the show. But, man, that's rough.
Yeah.
That was sad. Even knowing where it was going.
Right.
And, and the scene where Saul calls Kitty, and Kitty is all, I just got engaged. And you know that he's calling with the news that William died.
Right.
Oh, man.
I mean, Saul is bringing the paternal advice.
Yeah.
And I'm as far as we know, he doesn't have any children. He's just a good uncle, I guess.
He's just been observing.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, to just bring a lighthearted and happy note to an otherwise somber episode, Joe and Sarah split up and told the kids, and Cooper was like, cool, we can go do things on the weekends, Dad, yeah. And Paige is like,
we can go to Disneyland.
I know what this is about, and I'm going to make it very difficult for you.
Also, she invoked the name of...
Yes.
Gabe.
Plateless Gabe. Gave her the scoop.
Yep.
If Dad ever says he's just going to go live someplace else for a little while, let me tell you, little girl, what's going to happen.
Here's what that means.
This is Gabe's revenge. Paige is not buying it. Finally, she says, I'm going to go to my room. And then Cooper says, I'm also going to Paige's room.
Right. I'm sure Paige was very thrilled for that. That is not what she wanted.
Nope. Cooper was so easy, man. If it was just him, they'd have been scot-free.
Yep.
He's promised Disneyland, and he's yours.
That's all it takes.
But going out for meals.
Yep.
Very nice.
An apartment. How cool.
Yes. Kara Storsey, good job as Paige. You just can see that face and you know you're in trouble. But so that's that for now, I guess. And
right.
And
you mentioned Kitty briefly, so
yes.
So
that
Robert
whole Kitty plot, though. Yes, at the end. However, unbeknownst to Robert, Kitty has done something that I think we can fairly accurately predict Robert would be unhappy with. Mm-hmm. And that's just ticking away out there.
Yeah.
As predicted, somebody knew about his helicopter situation, that he did not necessarily bravely go in to do this thing, that he wanted to not do it. And his co-pilot or the other person in the helicopter with him did it anyway.
That they do it,
and
right.
died. And so he thought nobody would know, but the guy who was on the radio with the guy who died knew, and now wants to make some money from it. And so he approaches Kitty, and she goes to Kevin, who at first, of course, doesn't want to help Robert because he's a hated Republican. But Robert does something very nice for Justin, takes him to a VA hospital that he goes to periodically, and kind of got Justin back on, being okay about going back to the war. So Kevin does this thing where he finds out every scrap of trouble this dude has ever gotten into. And there's like a cart full of it. So
there's a lot of it.
Yeah. You didn't have to look too hard.
No.
And basically blackmailed him back that if anybody so much as hints of any scandal about the helicopter thing, that this guy is going to go to jail and, have a very unhappy life from that moment. Mm-hmm. So that seems to take care of it, but Kitty wasn't running to Robert and saying, hey, you know what? This guy was going to blackmail you, but I took care of it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Yeah.
You told your brother and you involved him in this and you did this without, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
So, because he's decided now he's going to be more forthright about it. So maybe he's going to tell anyway. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
His own terms.
I would have enjoyed that scene at the end with Robert and Kitty very much more if I hadn't known that she had done this stupid thing. Mm-hmm. Come on.
Right. But what he does is basically propose to her because, she had proposed to him and then kind of got a little bit weirded out by what she had done. So then he decides to take matters into his own hands, which sounds about right.
Yes.
And proposes to her. So.
Yes. And isn't that nice? Did he have a ring? He had a ring, right?
Yes, he gave her a ring. And then she got the phone call.
Yeah.
From Saul.
And Rebecca and Nora have tea. Right. Rebecca is going to leave when she knows there's all this problem with the babies and stuff. And I guess we take that genuinely, even though Holly has said she's a snake.
Right.
And then Nora says,
and she apparently didn't leave, or she still feels
she didn't.
involved.
Yeah, Nora told her she could stay, but then at the end she's there when they're all standing outside the window looking in at the baby.
Right.
And Sarah does not look too chagrined, but Sarah's got enough on her plate right now that it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Working her way into the fam.
The dream team, Nora and Rebecca.
Yeah.
Can they work together as a force of good?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sad. So sad.
Yes. And, I know I just have to let it wash over me, but how is it that they never saw or held the babies?
Yeah.
I get that they didn't hold them.
Right.
I mean, when they're that premature and have complications. But then, when the baby was dying, you could hold him. But then the little girl, like, she's still super tiny and premature, and she's just like there with nothing, no oxygen, anything. That part didn't, and it was like, we're just seeing her for the first time. Like,
yeah, that's all weird.
That's very strange, but I know. Yeah. I know the rule. Just let it wash over you.
Yeah. So sad.
Yes.
But
so
that's where we leave them.
That's where we leave them and one more episode, as you said, it's called Matriarchy.
Finally, this season will be
this
over.
Season comes to an end.
We'll have to decide if we want to sign up for more of this, or if you want me to just give you a quick recap of the remaining part of the series.
5 years.
I know you're a completist, but these walkers are a lot.
They are a lot.
Anyway, we'll discuss that next week.
Yes. And then the Ted Lasso episode is number 4 for season 3, and it is called Big Week.
Big Week. All right.
And that's going to be it for round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Goodbye, everyone.